G'day everyone, Paul Stone here, CEO Biggin and Scott, and I'm joined today by Russell Cambridge. You may not have seen him for a while, or he's changed, he's got a beard, gone all casual on me.
You know you're busy when you're dressing casual, your car's not washed and you haven't shaved or cut your hair for a while. How you going, Paul?
I'm very well, thank you. But we're here to talk about Office of the Month for February, which was an absolute bumper for you guys.
Yes.
And I think I know why, because not everyone went away for the whole month of January.
Yep.
But the market is... I just wrote our newsletter for the week, actually. It seems to be more normal than it has been in the last 3 years. Yeah. But people want to buy and they want to live in certain spots. That hasn't changed.
I know, Richmond's still centre of the world. And Cremorne. You should see the changes in Cremorne, which is a little pocket of Richmond just to the south. All these warehouses are now cafes, they're restaurants, and it's just a hive of activity. You've got a few tower blocks in there, so it's attracted a lot of people, and it's just magic down at Cremorne. And we did a preview opening the other day, which g'day Brett, filmed us doing, and then we all went out for a drink later, and we
Did you have the Mayor of Cremorne there?
Ed he was there, he was driving it. So we all went to this Italian restaurant that was set in a warehouse in Cremorne Street. I think it's called something Frankie's, and it was magnificent.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
All the activity. Yeah. But I'll tell you, the other thing is, you mentioned January, no one went away, but we also left for Christmas holidays with having stock ready to go in February. Yep. I think I had 8 or 9 or even 10 ready to go in February.
So do we think this is a bit... Because it was actually a bit slower last year in Richmond than it had been in the previous years. Is it a bit of a catch-up, you reckon?
Oh, it's definitely gone berserk this year. It's the busiest start to the year I've ever known. As Julie was saying to a client on the phone, had me laughing, apparently autumn is the new spring. So I said, does that mean that summer's the new winter, Jules? But anyhow, made me laugh. But anyhow, apparently autumn is the new spring.
Well, blue's the new black.
Orange is the new black. But yeah.
Let's talk a bit about the office and what you guys have been doing. So no major changes in how you're running sales meetings?
No, all the same.
I think what we haven't touched on enough with hopefully the officers that are watching is the topics. So on a Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning, you guys usually cover a topic that might be asked at a lot of the opens, and just run us through that a bit.
No, it's interesting. We have our Monday morning training. We have our Friday morning training meetings. Then on the Tuesday, when we don't have Josh, once a month we do an internal one that's to discuss the topic of the time. Like, the CAV last year was an indicative one, making sure everything was compliant. How to deal with if the competitors were starting to get a bit of a run on what they were doing differently to combat that sort of stuff. But no, it's always been a good catch-up. We enjoy our Tuesday
and some of the ones that I've set in, you'll even talk about if another agent in the area is copping a lot of heat, and you'll get questions. So how to combat those so that we're upholding the industry, really.
Well, I'll tell you, the interesting thing is, though, that bad news is old news very quickly. Hocking Stewart have had a big run on in Richmond. They're the ones that unfortunately got the heavy fines. They've jumped our other competitor at the moment. They're leading the way. And hats off to them. They've had a good little run there, but they're still not catching up to us.
So this business is all about people. Your team is growing. I know property management is growing, but sales, you're growing?
Yeah, we put a new chap on yesterday, Mark Varela. You'll meet very shortly. So we're excited to bring a new man into the team, and I think ex-professional golfer, and I think very driven. I think he'll be a good success in addition to the team. We're very excited. And boy, we need it. We've got the most stock I've ever had at this time of year. I think we should, potentially we could crack 40 sales in March this year, which is, autumn, the new spring.
Yeah, I must get my orange suit out. But, so the market in general, so normal in terms of prices, but busy. People want to transact.
Yeah, there is, and it's interesting. Prices are still on the rise, still not dramatically jumping, but they're still very positive. Yeah. But the apartments and the houses are selling mostly to home occupiers. The investor market has definitely subsided, which is going to be very interesting as we move forward into later on in the year and the next busy season next Christmas, where the rental's going to go. There's going to be a lack of investment properties available for renting.
Yeah, well, they're all moving out to the outer suburbs, which is quite amazing. Yep. So anybody that's watching that isn't in real estate, so the Richmond market, whether you know it or not, it's pretty much in a city. It's right on the border of the city, and it's walking distance into the city. So when you hear about markets in Melbourne, some being very buoyant and others being quiet, it's a great indication of every market is a market within itself.
Yeah.
Because demand in Richmond is always relatively high for people that live close to the city and so forth. And the further you get away, the motivations change. So you need to really do your research, and I've put that in today's newsletter.
And it's interesting, like what you say. If you look at how real estate's done in Melbourne compared to Sydney, we have to be centralised.
Yep.
You know, you're a Richmond specialist. Richmond and Abbotsford is right next door to each other. But in Sydney, they have these mega offices that sort of do mega areas.
That's right.
It doesn't work here. You've got to be a localised
North, south, east,
specialist.
west it is in Sydney.
Yeah, that's
quite interesting.
Whereas we are Richmond and Abbotsford specialists, obviously East Melbourne and Collingwood right on our doorstep. But beyond there, it sort of... we tickle into Hawthorn as well, but... Yeah. Then it sort of dissipates. But in Sydney, they do a massive
I mean, where it used to be, we're global, we're on the internet, we're global, we can do anywhere. It's very, very local real estate in Melbourne, very local. And great point in case, if you do want to know what is happening in the Richmond, Cremorne, Collingwood, Clifton Hill, Abbotsford markets, get onto the guys' newsletter, because they'll show you exactly what's happening with sales and suburb reports. It's there's a lot on offer if you just look under the bonnet. So how do we think Easter's going to go, and then after Easter?
Yeah, look, I was just looking at my figures still. We've still got, I think we've got 20 auctions ready for April as well. Yes, there's a few holes in there because of Easter, then there's Greek Easter, and then there's Anzac Day. Yeah. So there's a few little gaps in there that have affected things, and but April's still busy for autumn, should we say.
So they'll always be busy, but what we can guarantee you, as the days get shorter, so does the stock. There's less stock.
It's definitely dissipating as we move into the cooler months. And also, I'd just like to thank and congratulate the Property Management Leasing Department. They had a hectic Christmas busy period. I think January, there was 115 just in January. I'm not sure, probably another 100 in February. Yeah. So we're taking all the girls out for a celebratory evening. I think you're coming along too, Paul, on the 24th of March.
Get the soccer kick in.
Oh, there might be a bit of soccer there too. But I'd like to thank them all for their huge effort again over the summer period. You know, it goes berserk.
Well, you could actually say now, with your involvement with Melbourne City, that Biggin and Scott is involved with Melbourne City, because Russell is
well, we're sponsors. We're sponsors, and we're actually putting the logo on some of our banners and stuff, so it's very exciting. And my next meeting is to catch up with some of the boys at Melbourne City to discuss the next project. And
it's a good time to say you need a AFL team and you need a soccer team. And
if you haven't got a team, Melbourne City's your team.
Correct. Anything you're changing?
No.
Team, anything changing?
No, just keep running as fast as we can. And yes, look, obviously... anything that we do that's new is just replacing something old in a modern technology. These new ideas that come in, usually most of them are just, thank you. But if it's replacing something we've always done, it's a winner. Such as we take all the details on the iPads that go straight into the database. That means that you can send out information a lot quicker than what we used to, this type of thing. So, and taking the bids at auction, instead of writing them down on the back of the file, it's now entered straight into Bid Tracker. So all of these things, they're just replacements of what we always used to do, and they're winning. So modern technology's been adapted
and packaged up better for the consumer.
Yeah, and of course we used to hand out these pre-listing kits and submissions. Now they're done on video, courtesy of Brett.
Good, Brett. Oh, man. Mate, congratulations.
Thank you.
Big month. Looks like you're going to have quite a few big months. Flinny.
I look forward to talking to you in March. I'm fingers crossed it'll pan out how it's looking. We've, what are we, halfway through, and it's... I think we've done 17 sales already. So.
That's great. So as always, the Richmond team, they just want to be the most approachable and friendliest agents.
That's us.
So
and we are.
and don't be afraid to speak to them. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Shave and haircut coming up. Thank you very much.